Let's take a look at 5 matchups to watch when the 49ers have the ball. Man, these might be the game, essentially. What's up? It's your boy Cintron coming back at you with another reaction video. And I'm reacting to a news article live and in full effect. So, obviously, I'm an Eagles fan. If you didn't see the screen cap, pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention. Don't be saying dumb shit in the comments. When you can see what side I'm clearly on. Check the list of videos I made. It should be apparent. Anyways, Eagles versus 49ers, what we all been waiting for. Gonna do one more video before the game hits. Monday for me, Sunday for you guys. So man, let's get into it. The 49ers rushing offense versus the Eagles run defense. And here's the DVO rankings in week 1 through 10. When Jordan Davis, our big first round no cycle out of Georgia, runs a 4.78 at 330 plus pounds. Yeah, our DVOA was 28th, which is horrible. We were just allowing teams to gash us. And since then, week 11 to now, 15th. So I think you average that's like what 23rd or something like that, which is still like not good, but that adjustment is what we're looking at going forward. The overall ranking, okay, you can run with that, but it's not going to help you when you look at games that have been played week 11 till now. And we faced a murderous row of tough ass runners. So let's run down that list and look and see what the addition of Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh did for our defense. So right after losing, we faced the Colts. And Jonathan again, he doesn't play on offense for the Colts, buddy. Chill. Jonathan Taylor, who was last season's offensive, well, pretty much MVP, but offensive player of the year, 1,700 rushing yards, led the league. Ran 7 times for 49 yards and a TD, and very, 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 very positive there. But after that, tightened up. 15 rushes for the rest of the day and only gained 35 yards. So essentially shut him down. AJ Dillon had the best average against us, about a 6-yard average there for 64, but he wasn't in there enough. And AJ Jones, Aaron Jones, who ran for 12 times for 43 yards, that's that yin and yang for them, that balance that they have there. And it just wasn't enough. Definitely not to close out the game. Tannehill had a couple yards, but we bottled up Derrick Henry, King Henry, 30 yards, 11 carries. The next week, Dan Jones, again, he scrambled. We've been allowing opposing quarterbacks to get some rushes here or there, but you're going to gamble on, over the course of the game, they're not going to maintain that steady diet of carries, as well as we're gonna figure it out at some point that okay, it's gonna become habitual. Once it's become habitual, easier to stop. But they're not gonna live and die by that, especially with their most important player on the field, unless they are tailor-made to do that, a la Jackson up in not Jackson for the Ravens, or Justin Fields up in Chicago. And we see he was hurt. We had to pull him out of that game because he was taking a lot of contact. We were hurting that man. Hurts, don't it? Bears, David Montgomery had good success rate, 4 something clip, 12 carries for 53 yards and a TD. And Justin Fields, we were trying to contain him, but he's just doing Justin Fields things. 15 times for 95, but he paid for a lot of those yards. Especially on that 39-yard scramble. Dak Prescott at 41, but Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott 25 for 74 and a TD, and that's grinding it out yards. That's 3-something an average. And Dak, he used his legs when he had to, but still, it wasn't something that was a constant threat throughout the game. It was he picked his spots here and there, so wisely doing so. And the Saints, 35 times for $129, but again, only 3.7. It's very similar to the Washington game. They committed to it, but it wasn't getting really explosive plays. They were more beating us, like they said, with the underneath stuff. The passing game, us just playing zone and allowing Andy Dalton at one point to go 15 for 15 before we picked him off on the 16th attempt. Only reason he had an incompletion up to that point. Just Giants game, all backups: Gary Brightwell, Davis Webb, and Matt Breida. 21 carries for $129 and a TD, and just very, not respectable average there. Definitely a respectable average, but we were playing we were playing some vanilla. Like in the Saints game, we were holding back plays, and the Giants game just shows that we went all out as far as like not restricting ourselves or holding anything back, and that was the result: 38-7, domination. Yes, you could say the Giants were an inferior opponent, but we played like a team who was supposed to beat the team that was lined up across from them with inferior talent. That's all you can ask for. Domination. Giants again, this game that I just spoke of. Barkley, outside that 39-yard run hit in the second half when the game was really out of hand, it was 28-0. I thought that I actually was afraid. I was like, in that moment, I was like, oh, this might go for a touchdown. But surprisingly, Marcus Epps hawked him down. And that went to show that definitely at this point in the season, not everybody's 100%. And we're going to get to that later. It's a very crucial point I'm making. But we survived this murderous row of running backs. And, yeah, I'm going to get to this in a second, but maybe before in the season? But now, definitely not. So, if you want to attack that weak spot, like I said, if you want to rank it overall, 23, but we're such a different team, minus Linval and Sue, than with them, and then with Jordan Davis being back, being a true backup, he gets on the field in those 5-man line fronts, but we're throwing so much at the defense that just interiorly and exteriorly, man, it should make your head spin. Like, you trying to block these guys as a center or a guard, man, and then with the T and D and DT and stunts, yeah, man, it's just it's havoc, it's chaos. So the 49ers, their offense starts with running the ball. They want to establish that. It's a staple of theirs. Everything is based off of that run. And here's their stats. Their rushing offense, 139.7 a game, 7th in the NFL. Rushing first downs per game, 7.8, 7th in the NFL. Rushing yards per attempt, 4.7, a very healthy clip, 11th in the NFL. And rushes of 20 yards plus, 19, and that ranks 4th. So, explosive. But like they say here, those running backs are dinged, banged up. And even the quasi running back, who's really a full-time receiver, Deebo Samuel, he himself dealing with an ankle injury that's constantly nagging. Really, the Cowboys were, tightening. They weren't twisting really, alligator, twisting it, but they were holding on to that ankle. And, yeah, man, we're going to tackle him tough and, clamp down on him and test out that ankle. Because he was a full practice later in the week, but he was limited earlier. And Christian McCaffrey just practiced one day, Friday only. Elijah Mitchell, he practiced once, but then he was DNP. So, that's concerning that their top two backs are banged up. And, the game shifts dramatically if they are heavily compromised. I believe they'll play, but we saw Christian McCaffrey stretching out his ankle, his leg, that calf, live television. Cameras were panning in on it and focusing on it, and he's compromised, and that's gonna affect what they are able to do. If they're not an honorable threat that that has to be respected fully, that's going to affect those receivers being able to draw coverage and play action, and the scheme and the plays, the effectiveness of a bubble screen to the running back, drawing attention. You're making them a decoy, and yeah, they might get the ball in that instance, but if they're not able to go full speed, they're gonna be able to. going to slow down their own offense, and we're going to be able to rally to the ball. And so I mean, it just weakens them, and especially when that's something that's their go-to. Maybe the opposite if Deebo Samuels was injured, more so like these two backs. I think it'd be better on that front because it's not the heart of what they do, and this is built up off of what they do in the run game. So that's debilitating. Number 2, the Eagles tackling versus the Niners Jack Monsters team. Yeah, Kittle, McCaffrey, Samuel, and Brandon Ayuk, who's he doesn't get enough credit. Shout out to that guy, broke 1,000, and he runs clean routes, and he's not as explosive as Deebo, and he's smaller, but he's just reliable there when you need him. And it'll be interesting to see who Eagles put on him and how they play him. As well as George, who he lines up against. Will it be the safety, CJ? Will it be an umbrella coverage over there? Will it be straight up linebacker? So I think they're going to throw a mix of things, definitely to see what works as well, because, you want to make sure that he doesn't get loose. Like, last week, that was just unacceptable. He bobbled that ball, but it should have been at least trying to force him into making a drop. And the corner, Diggs, made a business decision there, throwing his shoulder out there. Like, that was just reckless. He didn't want those problems. He made a business decision there. And it just, that was a minute telling point in the game where you're like, I can see what's going on here. You're not fully vested in here. It's win or go home, and you didn't sell out. Come on, man. All right, next, where might the Eagles go feasting? So this line here, left tackle Trent Williams, left guard Aaron Banks, center Jake Brendel, right guard Spencer Burford, who's also a rookie, and right tackle Mike McGlinchey. So they have a solid tackle tandem. Trent Williams, obviously, he's a monster over there. Most likely, not most likely, most people I would say see him as the best left tackle in football. You'd be hard pressed to disagree with that, to find a reason why he's not. Even with his advanced age, I think he's like maybe 33, 34, 35, somewhere like that. But he's on the mid to middle side of 30, in his 30s. And Mike McGlinchey, he's a solid tackle, but he can be had. And Spencer Burford, he's a rookie, 4th rounder. A great find for John Lynch, GM there with the 49ers, but he's a rookie. He can be had as well. Jake Brendel, Aaron Banks, I don't think those guys they don't elicit anything from me. They're not Jags, but they might just be solid. So it looks like you can eat on that interior. And I want to see how Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham do when they line up against Trent Williams. He might be, strong, but I don't think he's impervious. So I want to see that battle. It's going to be a good one over there all day. But McGlinchey, I expect him to give up some sacks. Two, but even that, pressures. Pressures are also, important when you're getting to the quarterback and affecting his throwing lanes, affecting, which he has to get the ball out, affecting the timing of plays. So many things you can do there without getting home. But I do think they do from that right side at least once, maybe twice. Could be more. Let's see. Yeah, he's the best tackle in the game. Mike McGlinchey better in run than pass pro. So we'll see. He's got some pretty ugly losses on his side of the tape. All right, we'll see. On power rushes and speed. But yeah, they're discounting Sweat. Okay, anything he does will be a bonus. We'll see how it goes. Hassan Reddick and Brandon Graham, man. Those guys, they might even, do something where they put them both on the same side. There's so many things you can do. Stunts, twists, those games that they play on the interior of the lines. The 49ers do them as well, but we are coming in. Cowabunga, dude. But yeah, those young guards, man. They both have 18 career starts. I don't know if that's between them, but oh what? Okay, just another guy in Brindle. So 6 turkeys is it's a decent feast. All right, here's a good matchup. I mentioned a little bit earlier. George Kittle versus the Eagles linebackers and safeties. Yeah, George Kittle has had a lot of receiving yards. It'll make it interesting. I think I didn't even think about that, but Avonte Maddox covering him. He's got the speed. He's outmatched with the size, but his ability to play inside out, that's a rare thing. It's hard to do that. Harder to do that, I would say. I mean, it's just about as challenging as playing, if not more so, than playing outside in. I'll say it's even. Just about as difficult. But that's a key gain for us. The guy coming back. People before not saying just kind of like, oh, we don't even know who this guy is. You will. If he finishes the game, you will. But yeah, Kittle will see some time with T.J. Edwards and Kazir White. So obvious passing downs, CJGJ, Gardner Johnson. It'll be interesting to see how he makes up for size with technique there. But number 5, man, this is an interesting one. I've been holding off on this one to talk about this one all week, but man, it is an ever-present thing that you've seen over the Seahawks game as well as the Cowboys game. Can someone make Brock Purdy pay for his mistakes? This is the game. I'm declaring it here. This is the game where the Eagles finally make this rookie pay for it. And I'm not saying it's because he's a rookie and no rookie's ever won. Forget about history. Just look at the facts. Away game. I think this will be the best defense. In my opinion, this is the best defense he has come up against thus far. That home crowd. Just so many different factors, man. His running game being compromised. Those guys being banged up. Secondary. Throwing some looks at him like they threw at the Giants. A little shift in motions there. Them not having so much tape on that. There's little surprises they're gonna run different formations, different looks, blitzing, but covering for those blitzes as well, like they did last week with that Bradbury pick. So many things that they're gonna do that are not, the usual, the norm, and things that he hasn't really seen up until this point or experienced at a high volume. So, the dude is undefeated since he's been starting with 111.4 QB rating. 3 picks. So I made a mistake earlier this week. He's been picked before. I don't want to look at those and see. But he's had some off-target passes like that Seattle game. He had a slow start in the first half. Those off passes, some of those could have been costly. The Seahawks dropped a couple. I don't know if it was in that first half particularly, but I know definitely maybe just the second half as well. He just got lucky. So let's look at. He's on the smaller side. I love how they this replay here. Like, look at that. The guy didn't even jump for the ball, and he affected it. Anthony Barr, the linebacker. And then Diggs, you have to come down with that. I believe the Eagles will make him pay if those kind of opportunities present themselves, and they will, because they do so well with hiding the quarterback in this offense, Kyle Shanahan. But there's only so long you can hide him from me, as the Black Panther said. You're not going to be able to do it all game. You can't protect him out there. He is the player. You're the coach. You can coach him up, but he's the one that has to go out there on the field and execute at the end of the day. Just what it is. And this thing with him, like you can see here, where he like gets the ball, and he did it against Seattle. He did it against the Cowboys. This peeling out, it's a constant, and it's not planned obviously, but it's a panic move that I believe, man, we're just gonna peel back, and if somebody rocks that's gonna be a fumble. And as well as rocking his confidence and shaking him up. And hey, bad habits come back to bite you. It may not be the first time, may not be the second time, but if somebody's able to hold you accountable for that, because you put that out there on tape, and it's not like you're doing that to deceive the defense. You're doing it as it's a bailout move, and props to him for being mobile. But when you do the same thing, it's not like people coming in the hole. They're not gonna know if Jalen's gonna go left, right, pause, shimmy, spin. It's very rarely do people get a beat on them. Like in Chicago, they got the game like they had a beat on so much tape, whatever. But get a feel for a guy throughout the game. But that's one game out of 16 that he started. So I'll take that. But yeah, Brock Purdy, these bad habits are gonna come back to bite him, and I believe the Eagles are gonna force them. They're gonna deceive him into making those mistakes. They're gonna goad him, bait him, bait and switches, but they are gonna force these opportunities, and I believe, like a true Eagle, they're gonna swoop down and snatch him up when they come. But that's it for today. We're gonna get up out of here. One more video from me, and then it'll be game time. So man, fly Eagles fly. Let's go! Like, comment, share, and subscribe if you like. Thanks for watching. Check me out at Cintron, Cintron Anime, Cintron Life, or Cintron Laughs, or other social media.